Good evening, everyone. How are you? How's everyone doing?
Oh, fine. Thanks, Rov. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Yom. How are you all doing? Who's with us? Let's look who's with us. So we have Louis with us, Marky with us, Gabriel with us, Ivor. Hello, Ivor Snowick. There's more people joining while I'm going to admit them and going to put them in. Louis, today we're going to speak about two parshiot. That's Parashat Tazria and Metzora. Just remember. So we're going to speak about parshiot because this coming Shabbos we're going to read two parshot. Okay.
Two parshas. Okay.
But I know that I'm going to skip from one to another, but I'll give you the correction there. Who's else with us? 1818. Who's with us on Zoom on 1818? Hello? Okay.
It's a secret. It's Mossad agent.
Yeah, it's a Mossad agent. Okay. Let them enjoy the show, the 1818. Twice high, may please God you live forever. Because 18 mean high. So twice high, God forever. Okay, welcome also. I see that Adrian joining us. Adrian, hello. Who's that 1818? You unmute yourself. No, he's mute himself again. I don't know who is it. Okay. Hello, Adrian. How's it? Thank you for joining us.
Baruch Hashem, all well.
Good. Okay, so what's the time? I think that we are a bit late. Let's start the show. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח, השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת אסתר כדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, תמר בת זהבה, רחל בת מלכה סולטנה, רבקה לאה בת דוד, ואסתר בת משה הלוי, בעזרת השם נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים. לרפואת ליאורה בת מרים, שמואל בן מיכל, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, אורנה בלומה בת מרים, הרב אברהם בן מרימה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, הרב משה בן דבורה, דבורה בת אסתר, ידידיה זליג בן השיר הרחל, משה מאיר בן חנה, חיים נחום בן צבי הכהן, חנה שרה בת דבורה, שלמה פנחס בן שיינה פישה, מרדכי בן דוד לאה ומשה בן דבורה. בעזרת השם, that הקדוש ברוך הוא will send them רפואה שלמה, a speedy healing to them, and לכל עמו בית ישראל. רבותיי, just before I start, remember on Sunday we spoke about Hey B'Iyar. How value is Hey B'Iyar, what we can reach on Hey B'Iyar. Hey B'Iyar is this Shabbos. As much that you spend more time, and I'm begging for you, and I'm pledging to each one of you to tell everyone, this coming Shabbos, as much time that we can spend studying Torah, or even saying Tehillim, whatever it is, it will be great. There's a special secret on ABER that we maybe can redeem. Not only that, it's for the spirituality of a human being. So בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. Now I'm going to do a quick introduction to Parashat Tazria and Metzora, but first I want to explain that in Sefer Vayikra there is not a lot of things happening, because Sefer Vayikra it's all about Tu'uma and Tahara, I mean impurity and purity. So there's not really major things happening. But I will try to do as many more introduction that I can. For example, Parashat Tazria, the Torah here teaches us the law of Tahara of Bnei Israel. What it means? The law of the purity of Bnei Israel, and we have to understand that we are different to the rest of the nation, and we have to keep our purity and our holiness from the other nation. Okay? Also, it speaks about when the woman gives birth, when she can become pure, and etc. In Parashat Tazria, there is 5 positive commands and 2 negative commands. That's all. In Parashat Metzora, the Torah teaches us the law number 1 of the tumat batim, that means the tuma, it's the impurity of a house, the vessel, and etc. How to kosher them, for example, which vessel you can kosher, which vessel you can't kosher. Okay, also regarding the impurity of the house, when and how you can purify the house, and what's happened if you can't purify the house. In Parashat Metzora, there is 11 positive commands. That's all. Okay, so let's start with Parashat Tazria and Parashat Hashavua. In Parashat Tazria, Louis, I'm going to read verse 1 and verse 2. Verse 1 and 2. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור, אישה כי תזריע וילדה זכר, וטמאה 7 ימים, כימי נידת דבותה תטמא.
Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a woman conceives and gives birth to a male, she shall be contaminated for 7 days period, as during the days of her separation. Infirmity shall she be contaminated.
Okay. What's happening here, we have to understand. What it means, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור. The word לאמור actually appearing twice in 2 verses. Why? So this question been asked by the Rabbi Haim ben Attar. Rabbi Haim ben Attar, born in the city of Sali, the city of Sali in Morocco 325 years ago. And he asked, what does it come to teach us that we see twice the word le'emor? So it's come, Rabbi Haim ben Attar said that, as a matter of fact, it's come to teach the Jewish people 2 important things. The first important thing, it's come to teach us that we have the law of Tahara. That means that the law of Tahara actually referring mainly to the woman. That means, from that it say, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, Hashem spoke to Moshe, okay, to tell him, to tell Bnei Israel. It means that number 1, it's come to tell us that there is here a message to the Jewish woman, that the law of purity, it's mainly to the Jewish woman. And we know, a man, if you look, a man when he go to the mikvah, it's not because he's obligated. There is nowhere it said that man is obligated to go to the mikvah. You have to understand that. A man, when he go to the mikvah, okay, it's to get extra purity. Okay? Men that go to the mikvah, they're not obligated. So the one idea is that here we're learning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu come to tell you that the main mitzvah is to tell Moshe Rabbeinu, okay, to tell the woman that they have to be very, very careful with the mitzvah of purity, okay, because that's the positive command from the Torah, okay. Then say Rabbi Haim ben Attar, the second thing that you can learn from it, that it's le'emor, okay, it's come to teach you, he call them amarot. Le'emor is to say. What is this to say come to teach us? To teach us, it's come to teach us, he said by that amarot, to say, it's come to elevate us. By that HaKadosh Baruch Hu command Bnei Israel to keep the purity and the holiness, okay, it's come to show the respect and the honor that the Jewish people should have. That means by that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us as his nation, it shows that we have more proud, that we are more respected, but we obligated to keep our purity and our holiness. What the other nation don't have obligation for it. And that's what it's come to teach us. Say the Rabbi Haim ben Attar, or Haim HaKadosh. If you look later on, it says, Isha ki tazria, v'yalda zachar. What does it mean, Isha ki tazria? Why does it tell us all of that? So I saw it's written, and they're bringing it in Igeret HaRambam. The Rambam that I'm referring is the Nachmanite, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, born in the city of Catalonia, okay, in Spain. He born 827 years ago. While the Rambam born in Cordova, if you remember, okay, two different places. And he says something extraordinary. What it means Isha ki Tazria? Here we're talking about, the Torah tells us about when a woman giving a birth. He say, if you look carefully, it's come to teach us something very important. If you look at the previous Parashat, it's Parashat Shmini actually speak about the unkosher animal and the kosher animal. Not only that, the crawling and the flying insect that we're not allowed to eat, okay? So the Torah come and tell us those are the forbidden food for the Jewish people. What is the message here? What's the connection between Parashat Shmini, he explaining, to now that you told me that when a woman fell pregnant and she conceived, then she bring in a birth. What's the connection? He said the Torah come to teach us there is a secret here. Listen what he said. He said that Has v'Shalom, the Torah come to tell us what food is forbidden for the Jewish people. But Has v'Shalom, if the parents eat those forbidden food that they're not kosher, you know what they can cause to the child? Timtum alev. What it means Timtum alev? Okay, Timtum alev referring that a person that doesn't eat kosher food cannot understand the Torah. You can speak to him, he will never understand. And the Ari HaKadosh, they're telling about Ari HaKadosh, when people used to come to Ari HaKadosh, and they used to ask him, they want to do tshuva. They want to do tshuva now. He said the first thing, eat kosher food. Why? Because a person that doesn't eat kosher food, it doesn't allow his soul to understand the Holy Torah. A person that doesn't eat kosher food cannot understand the Torah, cannot understand the Torah, never mind the depths of the Torah. And that's what I always laugh. And I mentioned to few of my friends, there's many going that go and study Kabbalah, but they eat non-kosher, they don't keep purity, they don't keep their holiness, but they want to understand the Torah. The simple Torah you can't understand if you don't eat kosher. Now you want to understand the secret of the Torah, Nucha? And that's why I laugh on those people. There is what it's called Machon HaKabbalah. People in Israel call it Machon HaBalah. What it means Machon HaBalah? It's the place that they're putting all the bomb. It's all Habalah. Habalah, it's bombs that they're causing actually embalming into this world. Okay, let's continue. In verse 3, it says something very interesting. Look what it says here. Hu bayom hashemini yamul besar orlato. And we'll see now why it's so interesting. Bechavod, Louis.
All right. On the 8th day, the flesh of your foreskin shall be circumcised.
Okay. If you look here carefully, here we see that the Torah tells us that on the 8 days, we should have a Brit Milah, circumcised. But wait a minute. All the Mefarshim say, wow, whoa. In Sefer Bereshit, in Parashat Lech Lecha, okay, in chapter 17, in verse 12, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already commanded Avraham on the 8 days to have a Brit Milah. So why is that mitzvah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu already told Avraham Avinu in Parashat Lech Lecha repeat himself here? What's the Hidush? So I saw, I'm going to spend a lot of time now on that. On one, how many words there is here? There is here 5 words, and you can see what you can learn from each one of these words. And I'm going to explain each word one by one. From the first word that it says ubayom, what can we learn ubayom? The Mefarshim explain like this. From the word ubayom, Okay, just remember these 5 words. Ubayom hashemini yamul besar orlato. We're going to explain each one of them. From the word ubayom, Hazal learned that the mitzvah of milah, the mitzvah of the Brit Milah is during the day and not at night. What does it mean? It's come to teach us that the mitzvah of the Brit Milah is from sunrise until sunset. But, here comes the but. It's not just people can say, I can do the Brit Milah anytime. And why am I saying but? There's many people when they have a bris, they're not doing first thing in the morning. They do it in the afternoon and etc. Listen to what the Or Zarua. You all heard about the Or Zarua, Rabbi Yitzhak ben Moshe. Rabbi Yitzhak ben Moshe, born in the 13th century in a city of Vienna in Austria. And he said like this, listen to that. Adam shemal et beno. That means the father that taking his son and giving him a bris, okay? 4 שעות אחרי תחילת היום, that means 4 hours after sunrise, okay? מראה בכך כי המצוות בזויות עליו. That means that he despite the mitzvah of the Brit Milah. What does it mean? I will explain. Said the Or Zarua, if a father doesn't do the Brit early in the morning, okay, as early as he can, he actually showed that he despised that mitzvah. Because if you do it after 4 hours from sunrise, you're actually showing that this mitzvah is not so important for you. He said, from here you learn something very important. From that it says, Hu bayom, the mitzvah of Brit Milah have to be during the day, but it have to be early morning. Why? To show mitzvot havivim. That means to show that the mitzvot havivot al adam, to show that he liked the mitzvah. From one word, what it means bayom. And then it says hashemini. What it means hashemini? The 8 days on pshat of the dvarim, 8 days. But what does it come to teach us? Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in page 132, verse 1. Learn from it. That from that it says, Bayom Shemini, that's the 8 days, we obligate to do the Brit Milah on 8 days. When is it only on 8 days? When it's a natural birth. But if it's Caesar or etc., you don't have to do. You don't do it on 8 days. You postpone it. Why? Because when you do Brit Milah, there's certain things that you do that you actually do Hilul Shabbat. For example, when you cut the foreskin, it's Hituch. You're not allowed to do it on Shabbat Hituch. Pri'ah, it's tearing the membrane. I will get to all of those. And then sucking the blood. You know, when you do a Brit, the Moel have to suck the blood. Not only that, you have to bandage the Brit. After that, Lo Alenu, after you bandage him, we have to wash them because it's not nice, it's not hygiene, it's full of blood. Are those so that it's all, not all of those jobs that you do, that the Mohel have to do to the baby while he's doing the Brit Milah, not allowed to do it on Shabbos. From that it says, Hu Bayom Hashemini, if it's fall on 8 days and it's Shabbos, you obligate to do it. Not only that, Hazal learn, Bayom Hashemini, even if it's Rosh Hashanah, even if it's Yom Kippurim, as long that it's a natural birth, you have to do the Brit Milah on 8 days. That's what we learn Hashemini. Okay, let's continue with the third word. And the Yimol. What it mean Yimol? Yimol simply mean that you put in, the Moel put obviously the god, some people doesn't use the god, and then you have to cut the foreskin. The foreskin that you cut, you have to bury it in a ground. And if you see, usually the Moel come and you have with them a box and there's a little bit of sand and you put it in the sand. Mystically, what's hiding behind it? Why dafka in the sand? You can throw it to the dustbin. No, you're not allowed. He said the Orla, that's where Yetzer Hara. What it means Yetzer Hara? That's the snake that caused Adam and Hava to sin. He said, what is the food of the snake, HaKadosh Baruch Hu cursed him. Afar lahmecha yeh. That means whatever you eat, it's going to be sin. What does it mean, sin? We see snake that eat human being. We saw it not long ago in Indonesia. A woman gone to a field and a huge snake actually swallowed. Now the secret behind it, whatever a snake will eat, if he eat a rabbit, if the snake will eat rats, whatever is it, anything that he will eat, it will taste like sin. What are we doing? But that we're cutting the foreskin and we're putting it in a sand. Okay, focus with me. Now I'm speaking a bit high. We're telling the snake, here, take your part. We basically tearing that evil inclination and saying to him, here, take your part, leave us alone. You wanted it, take it. To separate us from the other nation, that we don't. So we learn from here that Yimol, it's actually doing the Brit Milah. And then it says Basar. Why Basar? What is hiding behind the word Basar? Basar means flesh. But it's come to teach us here about Priya, tearing the membrane. A moel have to do three things. Number one, we say you have to cut the orla, the foreskin. After that, you have to, on top of the brit, if that's the brit, there's a membrane cover it, okay? You have to tear it, and then you have to push the atara out, that everyone will see the brit milah. And Hazal tell us in the Gemara, in Masechet Shabbat, in page 137, folio 2. And Hazal say like this, mal velo para ki ilu lo mal. What does it mean? A person that cut the foreskin, but it didn't tear the soft skin, the membrane that is on top of the Brit Milah, it doesn't consider like it done the Brit Milah. That means by that it said Besar, it's to teach us that there's three different jobs on a Brit Milah. So far we learned two. Number one, doing the Brit, cutting the foreskin. Number two, that tearing the membrane that there is on top of the atara. And the third one, it says, Basar orlato. What does it mean, orlato? Okay. Hazal learned from here that that's referring to sucking of the blood, like we explained earlier. So everyone will ask, listen, why do you want to suck the blood from a baby? And especially where? From the Brit Milah. What's happening here? So there's a lot of secret about it. I'm going to bring two ideas, and Be'ezrat Hashem, I try to explain. So on the Pshat of the Dvarim, the Torah come and tell us that maybe the knife that the Moel used wasn't so hygiene. And Chas v'Shalom, because it wasn't so hygiene and cleared, it can cause infection to the baby. And we're afraid that Chas v'Shalom, that can cause infection. The Moel have to suck the blood. By that he sucked the blood, even if it was infection on the knife, lo alenu, or something unclean or unhygiene, now that you suck the blood, it can help him not to get contaminated, not to get any infection. That's on a pshat of the dvarim. Now, if you look, we have to use, Hazal say in the Gemara, Hakol ksherim la milah. Everything is kosher for milah. Every vessel is kosher. We know that the first woman that done Brit Milah was Tzipora, the wife of Moshe Rabbeinu. What did she use to do Brit Milah? True, it was a stone. But today everyone uses steel. Why? Did you ask yourself, why Dafka steel? Sorry. So Hazal explained like this. When David HaMelech gone to fight with Goliath, what has he done? He took 5 stones, river stone, and he took those river stone and he hold them in his hand and they turned to 1 stone and he threw it on Goliath. Goliath was fully armed with metal. He had a shield on his face. a miracle happened that shields open and the stone that David HaMelech threw on Goliath penetrated between the eyes and he killed him. Okay. Hazal say in the merit of that they still show gratitude to David HaMelech. From now on, you can use mainly steel. Although if you don't have a knife, you can use whatever thing that else that's sharp, but it has to be very sharp. Okay. So now we understand why we use mainly steel knife. But still, why a moel have to suck the blood? What's hiding here? It's not so simple. I'm going to bring the Zohar HaKadosh. The Zohar HaKadosh explained, by that the moel sucked the blood, they call it Adam Achur. What it means, Adam Achur? The mercury blood. I'm translating Hebrew to English. What's hiding behind it? It's not so simple. We learn by that the moel actually sucking the blood is not sucking only just normal blood. According to the Pshat, Chas v'Shalom, if there is infection, he actually, by that he taking the blood out, he taking the sitra ahra. What it means, sitra ahra? The evil inclination, okay, that there is on a baby, because the orla, we say it belongs to the snake. The snake is the Yetzer Hara, but he was lying there. By that you're taking it, you have no idea that you suck the blood, how much purity you bring to that baby. That means you completely draw all the evil inclination and all that mercury blood that was the Ola was on it, to bring, listen to that, purity to that man. And what I want to tell you something. A person that converts, he have to go to the mikvah. Obviously, he have to do Brit Milah. But let's say that they have a Brit Milah. Some people, many Gentiles also do circumcision before because it's very healthy. I know that the royal family in England, all of them, as they're born, they do circumcision. Okay? They learned it from us, obviously. But when a person go to after he convert, the first thing that he have to do, we know that he have to go to the mikveh, but he have to do also a kazat dam. We call it a kazat dam. What it mean a kazat dam? That if they have a brit milah and is old, they have to prick, that little bit of water will come, a little bit of blood will come. What is that? Not me, but many people understand. That little blood that come, withdrawing all the evil inclination that was on a Brit. And now we can understand those 5 words that it's in the Pasuk that I explained earlier. Ubayom hashmini yamul besar orlato. Now you understand why the Torah repeating it. It's to give us the secret behind why dafka on the 8 days that we have to do that. Okay. Now, we have to understand why dafka on 8 days. The Torah tells us 8 days, we understand. But why dafka the 8 days? We explain on a pshat of the Dvarim that on the 8 days, although that it fall on a Shabbos or fall on a Yom Tov, we're obligated to do it. But why dafka the 8 days? Because sometimes the 8 days doesn't fall on a Shabbos, doesn't fall on a Yom Tov. So why dafka the 8 days? So I'm going to bring few ideas. I'm going to bring the first commentary of Rabbi Ovadia Misforno. Rabbi Ovadia Misforno, born in the city of Cesena, in the north of Italy, 551 years ago. And I explained many times before, he was a great scholar person. Not only that, he wrote commentary on a Torah, on a Mishnah. And in his profession, he was a doctor. And listen what he said. He explained it spiritually and pshat. That means pshat and sod together, but we have to understand. And he said like this. He said, until the 8 days, what is the baby actually get fed while he's in the womb of his mom? He get fed from the blood that the mother circulates, the energy. he said that only on the 8 days after he born, he actually, by the 8 days, all of that for 9 months, whatever he was eating, actually get disappeared. What it means get disappeared? Hadam achu, that means the blood that we're talking about. But on the 8 days, because for 7 days now or 8 days, he's sucking he get nursed by his mom, sucking the milk. He said that only on the 8 days, listen to that milk start affecting. What I listen to that. Dam is red, it's blood, it's red, we know. That's referring to dinim. On the 8 days, we say that the milk start taking effect. Although that he sucked it for 7 days, because the mother nursed him, she breastfeed them for 7 days. The hasadim coming. What it mean hasadim? White, mercy and compassion. That mean on the 8 days, that's what's happening. That he get rid of the dinim and now coming the hasadim. Okay. There's another explanation that many of you, I'm sure, know, that on the 8 days, the why dafka on the 8 days, because on the 8 days from the day of the birth, not usually, it's for fact, that the blood can congeal much better than any other day. It's every day that he stay alive, it's beautiful. That means the first day that he come alive, the second day, the third day after he born, sorry to say come alive, that he born, the blood can congeal. When is the best? On the 8 days. That means if you do it on a 7 days or on the 9 days or on the 10 days, it's the same. But on the 8 days, the blood can congeal so quickly and the baby can heal so quick. That's why the Torah tells us. Another idea that Hazal explained, that he must see Shabbos. No matter what, when he born, if he born naturally on the right time, we're not talking about a baby that born premature and extra. We're talking about a normal, healthy birth, okay, natural birth, that he must see Shabbos. Why Dafka Shabbos? Because Shabbos is the Malka, the queen. He must see the face of the queen, Hazal say, Yir'eh pnei Malka. What does it mean, you must see the face of the Shabbos doesn't have it. No, that the Shabbos was blessed the baby. And if the Shabbos blessed the baby, after she blessed them, then you can do that. That means ki Shabbat, imekor beracha. The source of the blessing comes from Shabbat. We say that baby must see the Shabbos, and after that we're going to do the Brit Milah, that he'll be full source of success. In a different level, completely different level, and a very, very high level. Now I'm talking to you very high. I don't know if I say it or not say it, but then I decide to write that show. If you look, and we explain the number, I done show about number 7 many, many years back. If you want, I'll do show, please God, on number 7. What does it mean in Jewish religion? But number 7 actually represent to us, it's to show us that everything is still underneath natural. That means everything show natural, it's still underneath. Number 8 show that we above natural. Say Hazal, by that we're doing Brit Milah to the baby on the 8 days, we're showing that now he become above natural. Why? En Mazali Israel. By the minute that the person doing Brit Milah, listen to that, explain the mystical Rabbi, he become out of nature. Nature doesn't have any control above him, as long as he keep himself holy and pure and keep the mitzvah. Why? Because he become above nature. And we become above nature, no one can harm him. And that's the secret that we say why Dafka. In chapter 12, verse 8, 12, verse 8. Louis, we are in chapter 12, verse 8. Okay, you with me? I'm going to read it.
I'm with you.
ואם לא תמצא ידה דסה ולקחה 2 תורים, או 2 בני יונה, אחד לעולה ואחד לחטאת. וכיפר עליה הכהן וטהרה.
But if she cannot afford a sheep, then she shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 young doves, one for the elevation of the offering and one for the sin offering, and the Kohen shall provide atonement for her, and she shall become purified.
Okay, here we see that the Torah tells us that when a woman given birth, she obligated to bring 2 korbanot, 2 different sacrifices. Why dafka 2? We can understand korban olah. Korban olah is a korban that comes to thanks HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a korban todah. It's a thanksgiving. We come to show that she want to say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that she came alive from giving birth, and he healed her, and he purified her. So now we understand why korban olah. But many of the mefarshim say, whoa, korban hatat? What did she say that she have to bring korban hatat? What is so important? So I'm going to bring the commentary of Rabbi Don Yitzhak Abarbanel. Rabbi Yitzhak Don Abarbanel, I mentioned him a number of times. He born in the city of Lisbon in Portugal 584 years ago. And he explained like this. And he, a matter of fact, bring the Gemara Masechet Shabbat in page 55, folio 1. And he said like this. He said that Hazal tell us, En tsa'ar bli hate. Hazal tell us there is no such thing that a person will have pain and agony without sinning. He said, what's the connection? He said like this. When a good woman giving birth, according to the pain and the agony, the suffering during giving birth, okay, that's how much she. So as much that there is pain and agony that she's suffering, okay, you can learn something extraordinary. You can learn that a person suffer. Why? According to a pain and agony. Okay. Sorry, there's noise in the back. I'm going to mute everyone. Louis, you're going to unmute yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's come to explain to us that as much that woman's suffering on a birth, according to the pain, it's according to the avarot that she done. But by that she now have to bring korban hatat, now she have to bring an ex korban that the Torah command her, she'll do atonement. How is she going to do atonement? By that she do hishbon nefesh, the counting on me. Why did I suffer so much in my birth? That will do atonement to her. That thinking and bringing the korban will do atonement to that woman that suffers so much. So now we understand why korban hatat. Another explanation, one extra korban. The mefarshim explain, usually when a woman gives a birth after the labor span, and Hazal say, Megi'a ad sha'arei mavet. What it means, Megi'a ad sha'arei mavet? I will translate. She reached, basically she almost dying. The pain of giving birth is like dying. Not only that, Hazal say, mitpakekim atzmotea. She feel like her bones actually move, they disintegrate one from each other. And it takes her 24 months, if not more, to heal. Say Hazal, you know why she have to bring korban hatat? Because usually when the woman have pain like this, while she giving birth, she take her oaths that she'll never fall pregnant again. But after the baby come and he smiled to her and muchi chuchi, and she loved that baby, oh, she forgot about the pain. And now, what does she have to do? Korban hatat. Because she took her oath, she's not going to fall pregnant again. That's why korban hatat. 2 ideas. I'm going to move to verse, chapter 13, verse 2. Okay, and here we see very interesting. Adam ki yeh be'or besaro set, או ספחת, או בהרת, והיה בעור בשרו לנגע צרעת, והובא אל אהרון הכהן, או אל אחד מבניו הכהנים.
If a person will have on the skin of his flesh as a seal or sapach or baher, it will become taras, affected on the skin of his flesh, and he shall be brought to Aaron the Kohen, or to one of his sons, the Kohanim.
Okay, here the Torah tells us that when a person suddenly see a tzarat, some people call it leprosy. It's not a normal leprosy. It's a leprosy, but it's not a normal. We don't understand what tzarat means. It's worse than what we get used to see leprosy. And then there's all other lesions that the Torah mentioned here that when a person see. And we have to understand what's the fundamental idea behind it. So Rabbi Aaron Halevi, born in a city of Grondia in Spain around 786 years ago. And he wrote the famous book, Sefer HaChinuch. In mitzvah Kuf Samechtet, that means 169. He explained like this. Mishorshei mitzvah, that means the fundamental idea behind the tzarat, the lesion, okay, it's to show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, listen to that, watch over every person individually. Do we understand? No, we didn't. It means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, every human being that get lo alenu tzarat or all the other plagues, the legion, okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu watch over him individually. What does it mean? That when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does bring those legion, those tzarat, those leprosy on a person, he doing it. Why is he doing it? That the person will understand and do counting of the deeds, what's causing him. Not only that, it's to teach that person, you know what caused you? Has v'shalom, to have a tzarat, has v'shalom, to have any sickness, it's because the sin that you done. That means every sickness that a person have, lo alenu, it's because he sinned. And that's the idea behind it. And that's what it say here. That it say, Adam ki yeh be'oro. What it mean, ki yeh be'oro? If you see one of those lesion, one of those leprosy, you have to understand what caused it, lo alenu, the sin of a human being. Let's now, with your permission, because we have two parshiot, I would like to move to Parashat Metzora, that in chapter 14, the next parsha. And then it's like this. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe le'emor. Only the first verse 4, chapter 14, verse 1. Louis?
Hashem spoke to Moses, saying,
That's all.
this
What
shall
can
be the...
No,
All
that's
right.
it. That's
it.
Just, what does it mean Hashem spoke to Moshe to say? What does it mean? Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai. That's the Hida, the Gaon Hida. He born in Jerusalem 297 years ago. He say, actually, he bring in the Midrash and Midrash Vaikra Rabbah in chapter 16 and verse 2. He say like this, from that it say, Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe le'emor, Hazal, they tell us that all the legion and all the leprosy, okay, Ba'im ala Adam, they come on a human being like we explained earlier, Ba'avon Lashon hara. Lashon hara is gossiping. Everyone know what is Lashon hara. He say that, but from that verse, you can learn the cure. Look how the mefarshim, how blind we are without having mefarshim. How can you learn from that? Ways to a person that speaks Lashon hara, gossiping, lo alenu. Today we don't have it, Baruch Hashem. that we learn from that verse, where is the cure for gossiping? I looked at it at the beginning. I didn't want to look at the Gaon Hida. I couldn't find. But look how the Gaon Hida answer it. Now we can understand what it's Gaon Israel. What is mean to be Gaon by Israel? What is it to write commentary on it? And he bring a beautiful answer. And he say, "Hanega'im ba'im ala adam." The lesion come on a person. We explain ba'avon lashon hara. Ve'atrufa la'avon. What is the cure? What is the proper medication to solve that? All of those lesion, all of that leprosy. Okay. Shilmat Torah ve'yomar divrei Torah. What does it mean? He said from that it says Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe le'emor. What it mean le'emor? It says from the word that Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe, tell Moshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe to say what? He said from that it says le'emor. You know what was the answer for the cure? That you took divrei Torah, study Torah and took divrei Torah. What is it? Well, how did you come to that? The Gaon Hida. He said there is measure for measure. What is the person sin with what? Talking Lashon Hara, with the mouth. He said with the same mouth that you talk Lashon Hara, you want now to rectify what's wrong. With the same mouth, you learn Torah and you talk Torah. And that will do rectification for speaking Lashon Hara. Now we can understand what is Gaon Israel. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe le'emor. What can you learn from? HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu to tell. To tell what? The Gaon Hida only can explain that. That by that we're learning Torah and we're speaking Torah, that can do rectification and atonement for person that speak gossiping. Let's move to verse 2. Let's see what it says in verse 2. In verse 2 it says, זאת תהיה תורת המצורע ביום טהרתו והובא אל הכהן.
This shall be the law of Metzora on the day of his purification. He shall be brought to the Kohen.
Okay. The Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, born in a city of Andripoli 514 years ago. And he explained like this. He said from that word, from that verse, sorry, not that word, from that verse, you can learn the difference between lo alenu, lo alenu, lo alenu, a person that is physically sick, to a person that is spirituality sick. What does it mean? There is what we call a person lo alenu is sick physically. What does he do? He go to the doctor give him medicine, and that can cure him. If not, he go to a specialist, that physical sickness. He said, but spiritual work, spiritual sickness, that no doctor can cure him. He said, but the Torah here revealed to us what to do. What is the Torah tell us? The Torah tell us by that it says, Zot tiyeh Torat HaMetzora, that should be the law of the Metzora, beyom taharato. What does it mean beyom taharato? By that the person will decide himself, I'm going to stop gossiping, I'm going to stop talking Lashon Hara, that's going to be pure. When is it going to happen? Beyom taharato. What does it mean beyom taharato? On the day that he stopped talking Lashon Hara. So how is he going to heal? By that he's going to go to the Kohen. That the Kohen going to tell him that he's pure and not anymore. There is no sign of sickness on him. That means he can't see the lesion, he can't see the tzarat on him. That means, say, Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, you know what's the answer to spiritual sickness? That you have to do it yourself. No one can help you. That means when a person talks Lashon Hara, what can help him to stop? That he has to decide himself. And when is it going to happen? on a day that you decide, only then you can get purified. And then you can be cured. And that's what verse come to teach us. That physical sickness, has v'shalom, lo alenu v'lo al af echad me'am Yisrael. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu should cure all the Jewish people, all over the world. They have to use a doctor. They go to the doctor. They go to a specialist, whatever the case is. But spiritual sickness, no doctor can help. Only the human being himself. And that's what's hiding behind it. Let's move on to verse 4. And look here what it says. וציווה הכהן ולקח למטהר שני ציפורות חיות, טהורות, ועץ ארז, ושני תולעת ואזוב. Verse 4. Louis?
The Kohen shall command, and for the person being purified, there shall be taken 2 live, clean birds, cedar wood, crimson thread, and a haspot.
Okay. Now I'm going to explain the first part of the verse and the second part of the verse. ולקח למטהר שני ציפורים חיות. The Torah tells us that a person that sin with gossiping, you have to take 2 birds. And Chazal in the Gemara in Masechet Arachim, in page 16, folio 2, it said there, Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Levy, but there it's referring to Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levy. I checked it up, in few different words, it said Rabbi Yehuda ben Levy. But on the thing, it said downstairs, it's referring to Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levy. Why? I don't know. Okay. And he asked, Chazal in the Gemara asked, why dafka, you have to bring 2 birds? 1 bird's not enough? So what is the secret behind it? Why does he have to bring dafka 2 birds? That's the Gemara in Masechet Arachim asked that question, Chazal. The answer is, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's still the Gemara. Hu asa ma'aseh pitput. He done an act of chirping, talking gossip, okay? לפיכך יביא קורבן המפטפט. Therefore, you bring a sacrifice, the chirping, that all the psh, 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 psh. That means midah keneged midah. That's the pshat of the dvarim. But the Ramban that we mentioned earlier, the Nachmanite, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he asked why the Torah tells us dafka that he have to bring a this korban. What it mean this korban? Tzipor dror. What it mean tzipor dror? It's a free bird. Actually, a matter of fact, when I looked what it's tzipor dror, it's given me the, what do you call it, the name of the birds. It's Spiro, the Spiro bird. Okay, I don't know if it's really Spiro, but it does make, it's a free bird. That doesn't live at home. It's not a domestic bird, okay? He said, why dafka those birds a person have to bring? Listen what he explained and how the Rambam, actually the Rambam bring the Midrash in Masech, Midrash Vayikra Rabbah, okay, in chapter 16, verse 7. And there he said like this. Listen what he said. Hazal explained why dafka these two birds, the Torah tells us. He said, because these birds, these kind of birds, actually benefiting from a human being. They come into his property and sometimes eating from his food that he left on a table. Sometimes they drink from the water that he have in his garden. You know, because they're free, they fly to his field, eating in his field, fly to his garden, fly to his house, wherever is it? Because they're all over. He said, because they're benefiting from a human being, when a human being need them, therefore he can use them. Why? Because he actually given them life. Now that he need them, now that he need those birds to do atonement for him, he can use them. Why? Because he kept them alive. and he kept them alive, and he looked after them, and he used to feed them, he can use those birds because they benefit from him, therefore he can benefit from her. And now we can understand, ולקח למטהר שני ציפורים חיות. Okay, that's, we understand why דווקא זאת. How did you come to that conclusion? The Rambam, who's doing atonement to the Jewish people? The Kohen, נכון? When a person sinned in the time of Beit HaMikdash, he bring a korban, he bring a sacrifice to the Kohen, and the Kohen do atonement for him. What is the person give the Kohen? Trumot and Maasrot. He said the same like you give the Kohen Trumot and Maasrot. By that, why do you give him Trumot and Maasrot? Because he's doing the holy job. The same is with those birds. Because they're benefiting from you, you're allowed to use them. The same like a Levy, a normal Israel that done sin, come to the Kohen, and because he used him, now, therefore, he can benefit from the korban that he can give him to Trumot and Maasrot. That's what it means. But then it says, עץ ארז, ושני הוא תולעת ואזור, ושני תולעת ואזור. What does it mean? עץ ארז is a cedar tree. ושני תולעת is a worm. Ezov is a bush that's called the hyssop. There's a lot of secret about it. While I'm talking to you, if you can get hold of hyssop and put it on the table all week, and especially on Shabbat, it prevents a lot of evil eyes and prevent a lot of mezikim. Mezikim is demon that can cause faribol, cause fight in a house, to get rid of them. They don't like this, that. That's and a salt. Both of them have to be on the table, the salt and the hyssop. Okay, but what does that have to do here? Cedar tree, and the other two symbol that we have, a worm and a hyssop. Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, he born in the city of Troa in the north of France 981 years ago. And he explained that the cedar tree, because it's tall, we all know cedar tree is a very tall tree. It's come to represent and to show the person, you know why you have lesion? Because you're arrogant and proud. And because you're arrogant and proud, that's what the lesion come on a human being. What do you have to do to rectify yourself? You have to act like a worm, okay? תולעת שני, and hyssop. Okay. פשט הדברים, simple. Come Rabbi David Padro. Rabbi David Padro, born in the city of Venice. He born in the city of Venice in Italy around 303 years ago. And he wrote the famous book, Maskil David. And he asked, wait, when it's come to arrogancy, the Torah gives us one sample. What is the example? Cedar tree. But when it's come to humbleness and humility, a person have two samples, the worm and the hyssop. Why? Why does the Torah do that? Listen what Rabbi David Padro answered. Rabbi David Padro answered like this. When it's come to humbleness and humility, a person have to be extremely away from it, to run away from it. Why? Because if a person have any arrogancy or proud, he must work on himself extra. That means when it's come to arrogancy, a person should act with extra cautious. And that's the two sides. That he should be number one, humble. That's the very important thing, to be humble, to take extra precaution. But I saw that he bring also the Mishnah and Masechet Avot. The Mishnah and Masechet Avot in chapter 4, Mishnah 4, I think, yeah. Amar Rabbi Levitas, yes. Amar Rabbi Levitas, Rabbi Levitas say, מאוד מאוד הווה שפל רוח. What it means, when it's come to modesty, that a person should be modest, should be humble, okay? What he should do? Me'od, me'od, again, twice. Me'od, me'od, two sides. That means when it's come to modesty, when it's come to humility, in humbleness, a person should be extra extreme. That means we obligated to do those things, to be very, very careful, to be liot be'anava. What it means, anava? Humbleness and humility. So now we can understand why at the beginning it's Shnei Tziporim Hayot, two birds. Why did he act without Dafka those birds? We're learning why Dafka, when it's come to arrogance, the Torah tells us, remember, all the legion came on you because you act like a cedar tree, arrogance, proud. To rectify that sin, what you should do? Bring the worm, that it's very low, and the bush, that the very low, to show the humbleness. Let's move, with your permission, to verse 9. Verse 9. Okay. וביום השביעי, listen to that, יגלח את כל שערו, יגלח את כל שערו, את ראשו, ואת זקנו, ואת גבות עיניו, ואת כל שערו יגלח, וכיבס בגדיו, ורחץ את בשרו במים וטהר.
On the seventh day he shall share off all his hair, his head, his beard, his eyebrows, and all his hair shall be shaved off. Then he shall immerse his clothes and immerse his flesh in water and become pure.
The Torah tells us that on the 7 days, when a person gets cured, he should shave all of his body, all of his hair from his body. But the Torah tells us specifically, listen to that. את שערות ראשו ואת זקנו ואת גבות עיניו. שערות ראשו is to shave the hair on his head. Then זקנו, it's the beard. And then it say גבות עיניו, the eyebrow. Why דווקא those? This question but been asked by Rabbi Ephraim Milontwich. Rabbi Ephraim Milontwich, born 481 years ago in Poland, and in his book, The Kli Yakar, a commentary that he wrote on the Torah called Kli Yakar, he explained why dafka those, the Torah command us to shave those specific 3 things. And he says, he bring actually what Hazal tell us. Hazal tell us al shalosh averot, there is these 3 sin. Okay, a person get lesion, lo alenu. A person suffer from lesion, and what are they? Number 1, a person that is gasut ruach. Gasut ruach is rudeness, arrogancy, proud. The second one, lashon hara, gossiping. And the third one, tzarut ayin. Tzarut ayin, it's a person that have envy, call it envy. And he explained the connection. He said, why the rosh, that you have to shave the hair on your head? He said that because it showed that he want to be the head. What it mean by want to be the head? Why is he rude? Why is he arrogant? Because he want to show he's the best. He know everything. He said in that case, because that kind of the act of rudeness, you shave your head to remind you next time not to do it. Then he said the beard. What's the beard have to do? He explained like this: the beard you have to shave because you took lashon hara. To remind you that what caused you all of those legion? Lo alenu, the lashon hara. The third one that he said, the eyebrow. Why dafka the eyebrow? He said keneged tzarut ayin, envy. That he can't see that other people have and he doesn't have. He can't see his friends doing well and give him a blessing, a shakor, well done, may you'll have more, and he doesn't have. He always wants more. Say Hazal, those 3 kind of a people that act with this kind of a character trait, that's what causes them, lo alenu, to have legion, and not only legion, also to have tzarat. He said, from here you learn by that the person have to shave, number one, the hair on his head, number two, to shave his beard, number three, to shave the eyebrow, okay, the eyelash and the eyebrow. That will remind him what caused him the problem. That's mean by that he's going to bring all of that, and he shaved them. He will remember that what caused him to have the lesion and the tzarat. And now we can understand what's hiding behind that verse. I would like to conclude. I'm going to skip quite a bit because the time is very, very late. I'm going to skip to verse 35. Verse 35. Okay, and verse 35, where is it? We don't have verse 35. How can it be? I wrote it here. Where is it? No, that's already. No. Yeah, it's there. Verse 35 in chapter 14. Yeah. Okay. ובא אשר לו הבית והגיד לכהן לאמור, כנגע נראה לי בבית.
The one to whom the house belongs shall come and declare to the Kohanim, saying, something like an affliction has appeared to me in the house.
Okay. I don't know if you focused, but it said that when a person sees something wrong in his house, he must come to the Kohen and he must say something like, that's the key word, something like, look at my house. What it means, something like? Is it or is it not? What it means, something like? I saw a commentary of the Tosfot Yom Tov. Tosfot Yom Tov, Rabbi Yom Tov Liftman Heller. He born in Germany, in the city of Bavaria, around 443 years ago. There's a beautiful story about him. When he passed away, was a very rich person in a city, and his name was Yom Tov, the same like the Rabbi. But when the Rabbi passed away, that Yom Tov wanted to marry the widow of the Rabbi. And when he came to ask her to marry him, she said, why do you want to marry me? What do you want? He said to her, your husband called Yom Tov and I call Yom Tov and I wanted to marry him. She said to him, listen how she answered, look what a clever rabbit. She said to him, Yom Tov Rishon lo dome le Yom Tov Sheni. That means the first Yom Tov that we have, it's not the same like the second Yom Tov that we have. That means that always the first Yom Tov that we're celebrating, it's with much holiness. Therefore, she said to him, she doesn't want to marry him. That's a story just to let you know about Yom Tov Heller. He explained, from that verse, a person has to be so careful to guard his mouth. Where do we learn that? He said, take the word like. It's look like. It means it's come to tell you that even if you see Has v'Shalom something, never say directly that you saw it. Never say what you saw. It's look like. It's maybe. It say why. He said, look what Hazal tell us in a Gemara in Moed Katan in page 18, folio 1. Hazal say in a Gemara like this. Hazal say, Brit Kruta Lasfatayim. What it means, Brit Kruta Lasfatayim? It's a covenant. Whatever you say, that can happen. He say, even if you saw Has v'Shalom, that there is a leprosy on a house, there is a tzarat on a house, okay? You mustn't say to the Kohen that, listen, there is, no, don't say that. Say that it's look like, I'm not sure. Why? Say Rabbi Yom Tov Heller, a person that very careful with his mouth and careful what he say, even if it was the tzarat, it can disappear. That's me. It's come to tell us that the person have to be careful what he's saying. That means that sometimes people say about a person, you're talking to him, you say, imagine that you was on that street and it can happen to you, and you drove, and the car can come right to you. Why do you open your mouth? Lama liftoach pe l'Satan, we call it. What it means, open pe l'Satan? Chas v'shalom, when a person says something, is open a reason for the Satan to harm him. And that's what it say here. Nir'ali, it's look to me like. Always don't speak directly. That means we have to be very, very careful when we're speaking about things, not to be very careful, not to speak directly. When we speak about good thing, okay, you're a good man. You should be like this person. You should be a scholar person. You are a scholar person. That's a compliment. Why? Because Brit Kurta L'Sfatayim. Because if you tell him good things, please God, it will happen. Brit Kurta L'Sfatayim, it means a covenant. There is a covenant that what you say can happen. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us to guard our mouths, to watch what we're saying, to refrain from talking Lashon Hara. You're all tzaddikim. I'm talking to myself, none of you. That to refrain from talking Lashon Hara, to gossip, has v'shalom, arrogancy, all what we learned today. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please God, will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. If you have any question, I will try and answer. Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony.
Shalom Aleichem, Antonio. How are you?
How are you?
Yom Yom. Yes, Antonio.
The moel who does the bris, does he have to drink a cup of wine? Or does he eat or drink anything when he does the bris?
What do you mean? What you mean? What are you referring to? I just want to Geffen, you're talking about the brocha?
Does he have to drink anything? Actually drink?
What do you mean drink? Water or alcohol? Just explain to me what you...
When he does the bris, does anyone have to drink or eat anything during the ceremony?
During the ceremony, he's not allowed. How can he?
Now, I was wondering because of Yom Kippur, when it's Yom Kippur, he's not allowed to. So if the bris is on Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to drink or eat anything.
No. You're mixing two different things. Yom Kippur, not only he's not allowed, none of us allowed. But if the moel know that the bris is at 10 o'clock, what, you're going to tell him not to eat, not to drink? You see, that's why I ask you. I wanted to understand what you're referring to. If the brit is at 2 o'clock, some people do the bris at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So what? He must fast until 2 o'clock. Don't say that. That's why I ask you, what are you referring to? Alcohol you're referring? You're referring to normal food. That's what I wanted to be specific. So I will explain. If the moel know that early morning is the bris, and he's there in a shul, because usually the moel in a shul, so straight after davening, they'll do brit, and after that, they'll have Saudat mitzvah. But if it's in the afternoon, what do you expect the moel to wait until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock not to eat? It's on. And it's a Yom Tov for him. Because when there is a moel in a shul, Ava ben, Sandak, we don't say Tahanun. It's a Yom Tov for him. But that you tell him not to eat, what it's become? It's a fast day for him. It's a tzar. You understand, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. I hope that I answered your question. That's what I asked you specifically. When you said drink, drink usually sound like alcohol. Yeah. If it's alcohol, that's why I asked you, because I was thinking that you're going to refer to it, but you didn't refer to it. But if a moel come drunk, how can he do brit? You know what can happen. I don't want to say it. You follow?
Yes.
Okay.
Anthony,
I hope that. Okay. Anyone else want to ask question? No. Okay. Rabota, I would like to take the opportunity to wish you all a great Shabbos, that you should all, please God, have a great Shabbat, Enjoy the beautiful Shabbos. Again, I repeat, this coming Shabbos is Hey B'Iyar. We done a show on Sunday night about Hey B'Iyar, and Hey B'Iyar, actually, it's a very strong day that there is a good chance for the redemption of the Jewish people, Geulat Israel, and the redemption of the spirituality of a person himself. So Be'ezrat Hashem, wish all of you Shabbat Shalom, keep well, keep safe, all the best. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Thank you, Rav.
Shabbat Shalom, Rav. Thank
All
you.
the best. All the best.
Ciao, ciao, bye.
Bye.